లైవ్ వచ్చిందా? హలో,
Yes, sir. Continue, sir.
లైవ్ వస్తుందమ్మా యూట్యూబ్?
చూస్తున్నాం సార్ 1 minute, సార్.
ప్లీజ్. ఎస్ వచ్చింది.
Yes, sir. Start in sir YouTube live.
ఓకే. Hello friends, good evening. All of you, please try to be with me for another half an hour or so on the counseling skills here and coaching skills, I mean. And we have been talking about coaching, leadership coaching for the last couple of sessions. Today is the third one, that's on coaching with impact, wherein the leadership coaches should necessarily have what I should say, active listening skills as such. So we would like to discuss something about active listening, advantages in active listening, and what are the very good habits of effective listeners. And coaches should be effective listeners, as you all know. So let us examine the listening role of listening in leadership coaching, the active listening part of it. Active listening is a structured and very conscious effort to truly hear and understand the speaker's words, emotions, and intent without prejudice or interruption. See the statement. It is a very conscious effort. You should not have to have any mental excursions, deviations, this way, that way. And you're supposed to truly hear and understand. So you need to understand clearly, you need to truly listen what the speaker is saying. Speaker is maybe the subordinate whom is getting your coaching. So you need to understand the speaker's words and also emotions. That means the body language of the subordinate, and with an intent without prejudice or interruption. There is no prejudice. There should not be any prejudice towards that particular individual, and there should be no interruption at all. Don't create any interruption after the sentence gets completed. Then of course you can have some clarifications, seek clarifications, or whatever it is. So what listening involves is focusing fully on the speaker, both verbally and non-verbally. Just now I'm saying, you need to concentrate on not only simply words but the beyond the words, meaning that with what intensity the subordinate is expressing, and what is the emotion with which the subordinate is expressing things. This must be properly be looked at, and acknowledging and paraphrasing to confirm understanding. That means you need to nod your head, not simply nodding your head, but also you should acknowledge that what has been heard, is it right or wrong. You again paraphrase to confirm understanding. Paraphrasing means again restating what the speaker has said just now in a short format, and then try to get confirmation of your understanding with the subordinate. And you need to demonstrate empathy, avoiding distractions and judgments. That means you need to empathetic listening is very, very important. You have to demonstrate. That means the speaker should understand clearly that you are really listening. So that's what we call demonstrating empathy. Nodding your head positively and leaning towards the subordinate, and pay very important attention and all that, and avoid all the distractions, manage all the distractions. In leadership coaching, active listening is a very, very important. It's not just about hearing, please note. It's about connecting deeply to support, guide, and empower others. So it's just not listening or hearing what the other person has said. So if you just get yourself connected very deeply with the subordinate with whom you're interacting with, it is just like supporting him, guiding him or her, and empowering the subordinates as such. You should demonstrate that kind of a thing. It's not just hearing, please note. It is deeply supporting and guiding the individual and empowering them. I mean, answer all those problems they have. Now let's examine some of the interesting observations how listening helps in building trust and rapport. See, the subordinates look to the coach, leadership coach, with an intention that they need, they can be helped on very many areas. So there must be a trust and rapport. See, unless you build up a trust and rapport with the subordinates, everything will go out of gear. So the trust creation is not a simple affair, mind it. Trust cannot be created automatically unless the leader coach demonstrate that he is empathetically listening towards the subordinate. That's very important. Let's examine what are the essentials here on trust creation. How can you create a trust among yourself as a coach and your subordinate? Listening signals respect and fosters trust. Demonstrate that you're listening positively and assures the speaker that their thoughts and feelings are valued. If you create any sort of distractions and distracting from the speaker many a time and all that, that becomes a very problem area, and forget that trust cannot be created. Remember that the trust cannot be created, no. So the if you listening sincerely helps the speaker that their thoughts and feelings are valued, and the speaker understands, oh, this person is listening to me carefully and he is to be trusted. Leaders who listen actively create a safe space where individuals feel understood and are more willing to open up. That's very interesting. If you are empathetic towards the speaker, the subordinate, they feel safe in your hands. Yes, he is the person for us to guide us or help us. So then only they are willing to open up. Otherwise, they'll be shutting themselves from inside. They cannot give you their open opinions and comments as such. So that's very important. So build up trust, one. And rapport development means getting together close. See, genuine listening builds emotional bonds, essential for effective coaching relationships. Very, very important here is you have to create an emotional bond between yourself as a leader coach and your subordinate. So that kind of emotional bond will create a good rapport between yourself and your subordinate. That's very essential for effective coaching relationships. So consistent active listening fosters a very important environment which is supportive and which is encouraging with meaningful interactions as such. Let's examine an example. A coach who listens attentively to a team member's challenges without interruption definitely builds trust. Making the individual more open to feedback and collaboration is established minded. So you have to create such kind of a positive impression in the mind of the speaker that you are listening honestly without any interruptions, without any sort of deviations in between. So that's very important. Then only you can build trust and build a rapport. The second important advantage here, why listening is so important here, is that it will have a very positive impact on decision making and conflict resolution. See, active listening gathers diverse perspectives and insights, right? So, for example, if you ask your subordinates what is the problem and how you are going to decide on a particular issue as such, so you need to have this kind of a positive approach of enhanced decision making style. How can you enhance decision making? By involving all those subordinates who come to you for guidance or support or whatever it is. So active listening gathers diverse perspectives and insights. That's why the leaders can identify underlying issues and opportunities that might be missed otherwise. Yet, unless you probe into the things in detail, the subordinates may not be in a position to give you the detailed analysis or whatever it is, and the bondage will be missing out. So leaders can identify underlying issues. Then only you can enhance decision making exercise as such. It helps prevent hasty decisions based on incomplete information. So listen properly, listen very patiently, listen actively and honestly. That can help you to take decisions quickly, not hasty decisions minded. Hasty decisions are always with misinformation, incomplete information, and erroneous information. If you are quick and if you are fast enough and what I call you running away from not listening properly, then all these things count become a problem here. Let's examine an example in a strategy meeting. See, this is a very important meeting as such, because a strategy meeting where there are certain important strategies are to be worked out. So it's a very important meeting. A leader who actively listens to all team members can synthesize diverse inputs into a well-rounded plan. Absolutely important, because all people may have their own ideas in the process. So we have already said you have to build rapport and trust among your own subordinates. As a coach, you are supposed to have this kind of a thing. So in order to work out a strategy and effective decision making, yes, of course, you are supposed to actively listen and to all team members, and then only we can synthesize all diverse inputs, that it can be a well-rounded plan can be worked out. It's a an approach where you can see that a democratic decision making exercise, all possible creative ideas can be captured only when with the active listening. And the third important advantage for active listening from the leader coach is that it helps effective conflict resolution. So it's quite natural that when there are people, there will be individual differences and there may be misagreements and disagreements or whatever it is. So listening helps identify what sort of disagreements are there, what sort of misunderstandings are there. So that's very important. So listening helps identify root causes rather than addressing the surface level symptoms. See, you have to go deep into the problem in order to attempt a resolution, isn't it? So if you just look at only surface level symptoms, then the problem remains the same. There may be certain other causes which are not clearly understood by you because you have not listened to them properly. So if you listen to them properly and you can understand the exact root causes of the disagreements, so that can help reduce misunderstandings, clarifies different positions or whatever it is, and it fosters mutual respect from the subordinate side, and they'll be completely will be opening up to give you what are their points of view on that. So when individuals feel heard, listened, they're more willing to compromise and collaborate. If you do not listen them, if you snub them, if you discard them, or if you do all that nonsensical strategies where you don't want to hear the comments and listen the comments made by the subordinates, then of course it kills and you cannot expect any resolution of any disagreements, as a matter of fact. So let's examine an example. Say in a dispute, in a situation where there is a dispute between two departments, a leader who listens to both sides without bias. See, don't go for hasty conclusions. Don't misinterpret. Wait for an opportunity. Only when you listen to both the parties, then only you can have the ability to mediate effectively. Listening one party and not listening the other is your biased approach. That never happen. Should never happen. Otherwise, it's very difficult for you to manage. So, in order to mediate very effectively, ensuring both parties feel respected, you have to listen to two departments, two situations, and acknowledge the problem and then help resolve with your intelligence or expertise, whatever it is. So, in summary, with regard to that listening part of it, in leadership coaching, active listening is more than a skill minded. It is foundational habit that enhances trust, facilitate stronger relationships. Absolutely, because active listening is a very good parameter for leadership coach effectiveness as such, because it supports effective decision making and conflict resolution. See, you are not supposed to be having an individualistic approach by saying, no, I will decide, you follow. No, It's in a scenario where democratic decision making takes place. There should be necessarily team dynamics and team building, and trust should be there among all the members of the team, and the leader should guide the team with an effective objective in mind as such. So, in conflict resolutions, joint decision making, effectively to go ahead, you have to have this listening as natural as anything else. By adopting active listening, leader coaches, empower individuals and foster environment of collaboration and growth. Otherwise, forget about everything, and you're not a good coach, or you're not a good leader or coach as such. Now let's go in for another aspect in coaching, is talking about coaching styles as such. I think we have made an attempt to understand what are the coaching styles as such. There are different things here, because all coaches are not one and the same. Number one, everybody will have their own coaching style, and all the leader coaches have the intention to help their subordinates. Number one, okay. Like when the coaches take subordinates for coaching exercises, please note all subordinates are not one and the same. For example, you are a leader coach, you are Mr. X, and your subordinates are Mr. A, B, C. A, B, C are different individuals. So you can adopt A style with A, B style with B, C style with C. What are those styles? We shall discuss, because there is no uniform coaching style that can be applicable. It depends, because I have already circulated an exercise. I think most of you might have done that. Coaching styles, what type of a coach you are is a test. It's a self-assessment test. I think Upendra sir has given me some two or three score sheets, so good scores from their side. Anyway, I'll come to that just now after the this explanatory thing is completed. Then we can come on for an internal discussion on the instrument that is circulated to you. So, coaching styles in leadership refer to varied approaches, as I've been telling you, no? Various approaches. Because what are the various approaches? Let's see. Leaders use very many approaches to guide, support, develop their teams based on individuals' needs and goals and situational factors. Mind it, there are a few things that influence coaching style. Number one is individuals' needs. See, please note that you are coaching individual. Number one. So where there are individuals, there are individual differences. Where there are individuals, there are individual differences, and see, important for us to answer individual needs as such. A, B, C are there. I'm telling you. So A may have their own need, his own need. B and C may differ in their needs and goals. And of course, all will be having organizational goal achievement process in mind, but the individual personal goals also must be to a large extent answered, because what we mean here is, when you're working for an organization, individual goals must be aligned with the organizational goals, or other way to say is, organizational goals must be aligned with the individual's goals as such. So individual goals are also important. And then situational factors. See, X situation is different from Y situation. So based on the situations, you have to shift your coaching styles as such. We shall discuss these things with the help of examples. So then, what defines a coaching style? Okay, how do you go? How do you go about coaching a subordinate? What type of differences you see, and how you adapt A style, B style, C style. Let's say a coaching style reflects how a leader interacts with the team. Mind it, how a leader interacts with the team, ranging from directive. Directive is telling and instructing, no questions asked by subordinates. No, I tell, you do. That's it. It is ranging from directive, total directive, telling and instructing, to non directive. Non directive means you don't dictate things. You'll be facilitating the subordinates' understanding of things. Listen to them properly, answer all those queries and inconveniences the subordinates putting before you, and empower them as such. So there is two extreme scenario here: directive, totally instructing and telling, and number two is participative, totally with listening and facilitating and empowering the subordinates. Let us examine the leadership coaching styles for a detailed overview with some real life examples that we can give. We have already just now told you that coaching styles are nothing but approaches used by leaders to guide, motivate, and develop their team members. Again, I repeat, you have to guide them, you have to motivate them, you have to develop your team members so that they will be achieving their best organizational results as such. Their participation is full, they're productive, and they work absolutely well with team building strength and all that. So each style, whatever style we are going to describe now in different styles now, each style has its own unique characteristics, because no uniform style can go good. That's the thing what we say. Our assumption here is that no uniform style, no uniform style. There are different, because number one is coaches are different. Number one, A style is different from B style, is different from C style, because by nature of the leader himself or herself. Same is the case with subordinates. Subordinates are XYZ. So one style can suit X subordinate, another style may suit Y subordinate, another style may suit Z subordinate as such. So each style has its own unique characteristics and is suited for specific situations and or individuals. Not simply individuals are different, but situations also are different. Situation A is different from situation B. Situation A requires a directive coaching style, and situation B requires a democratic coaching style, non-directional approach. So let us examine. There are certain major coaching styles are there. Let's examine these coaching styles with their own definitions as such, for a better understanding. As I've already told you, the first one is directive coaching style. It goes without saying. This style involves giving a very clear instructions, setting specific goals, and closely monitoring the progress. Please note, it is direction giving simply. It is authoritative and task oriented, because sometimes it is necessary to give directions. How long you go on discussing with the subordinates in a democratic pattern and trying to do, but situation warrants sometimes, you have to go with you have to adopt a you know this kind of coaching style, directive coaching style. It is authoritative and task oriented, focusing on achieving short term objectives. Because once see, for example, if there's a crisis there, situation warrants that the decisions should be taken much faster, and the things should happen much faster, and all that. So what we need is a directional style. There is no other alternative. Let's examine what are the characteristics of this dominating or called directional coaching style as such. Number one, leader takes charge and provides explicit guidance. No questions asked by the subordinates. Leader understands the situation, the urgency of the situation, the crisis situation, as a matter of fact. So leader takes charge completely. So there is no time for democratic participation, discussions, and all that. So decisions are often made unilaterally. Unilaterally means what? Single-handed. There is no participation, because situations warrant like that, especially when you're transacting crisis situations. No, when you're transacting crisis situations, there is no chance of discussions take place and all that. So the third one is focusing on correcting behavior and meeting targets. See, when something is going wrong and the targets are not being achieved, there is no alternative. You have to direct. So one is taking charge, provides explicit guidance, and decisions are made unilateral. And the third one is correcting of behaviors and meeting targets. You have to use this kind of directional style. And when to use it, let's see. After examining the characteristics of this, let us examine then in which situations this directional style is of immense use. Number one, when team members are inexperienced to a new role, or completely inexperienced new to a role, they cannot give you any guideline, right? They cannot give you their own ideas as such. So in such situation you have to direct them. There is no other alternative. Number two is in high stakes situation. I was talking to you earlier. In high stakes situation is a crisis situation. It is it's a very urgent scenario which requiring quick decision making. You can't go for delayed decision making. And in a high stakes situation, you have to sit down, use your expertise, and direct the subordinates and to get things done. No compromise there. Then to address underperformance. See, for example, if you see that no, where the performance is not up to the level and people are not, going good in terms of showing the required level of performance, and if you want to answer underperformance, there is no other alternative to correct them with directions. Okay, so these are the three situations what we say. One is when the subordinates are very new to the role and inexperienced. Number two, the situations warrant you because high stakes situations like crisis or whatever and quick decision making is necessary. Yes. And three is when people are underperforming, there is no alternative to except to direct them with some sort of directional approach. Then let's see a real life example. Steve Jobs of Apple often exemplified a directive coaching style. See, the Apple is known for its professional expertise, but then Steve Jobs, the CEO, especially during the development of revolutionary products like iPhones. So that's very interesting. See, you're creating a revolutionary product, and the things very urgently needed in order to face, in order to put yourself in a competitive environment. So naturally, something should necessarily be directive in the approach, isn't it? So Jobs set clear goals, provided precise instructions, and ensured the teams adhere to his vision. So he explained the vision and supposed to do this way, that way. He has set clear goals and all that. While demanding this approach enabled Apple to achieve groundbreaking innovation. So this is what the style of Steve Jobs can be precisely mentioned as an approach and a directional style of coaching as such. Second style is supportive coaching style. This style is different from the directions. You know that by the name it implies. This style emphasizes emotional support, encouragement, and motivation. For whom? For your subordinates, for your team members as such. So the leader fosters a positive environment and focuses on building the confidence of the team members, because after all what happens is the entire team should sit together, work well in a cohesive fashion. So they require here and there some sort of support. So instead of direction and giving total directions in a monopoly scenarios and it's a autocratic scenarios, no, you have to deviate significantly from that. So supportive coaching style encourages, emphasizes emotional support to be given to the subordinates, encouragement of the subordinates, and motivating of the subordinates. This is just to build the confidence of the team members in the process of work to be done here. And what are the characteristics? Of course, one is it prioritizes empathy and understanding. So please sit with your own subordinates, be empathetic, walking into their shoes, understand the problems from their perspective, and clearly understand what's happening there. And then, of course, your interventions can be suggested, support them on a problem oriented scenario. And you encourage team members through positive reinforcement. Don't penalize them, don't use negative language. This is a positive reinforcement. When pat on their good behaviors, encourage them, uh, you know, encourage the team members through positive reinforcement. And third one is focus on personal development, well-being, and well-being. See, they may have their own problems, as a matter of fact, in the process of doing things. We have already talked about just now that individual goals and organizational goals both should align together, isn't it? Sometimes individual in the process of handling and achieving organizational goals. People are not necessarily forego the individual goals as such in the process of achievement of organizational goals. They must also look after their own personal goals, individual goals also. So there may be, they require some sort of a support here sometimes, uh, towards personal development, towards their well-being, etc. So supportive leadership coach, supportive coaching focuses on this as such. Okay, let us examine what are the situations when these style can be adopted, when to use. Let's examine one. When the team members lack confidence or dealing with the setbacks. See, number first situation would be they may not have sufficient confidence to handle an assignment. They may not have sufficient confidence to handle a job. Then, of course, you have to support them. Or dealing with some setbacks. There are setbacks in the process. There are some problems rolling up, and they are not in a position to say, help themselves with solutions for that particular problem. So, in dealing with these setbacks, you should also support them. The coaching style, in a supportive coaching style. Number two is to maintain morale during challenging times. Yes, absolutely. See, when you are working on a deadline or something like that, there may be some challenging situations when the subordinates are facing. So it is very important for you to maintain the morale and motivation. I'm at its top as such. They should not get demotivated, and morale should not come down. And when these things come down, and the work ethic get disturbed. So to maintain morale during challenging times, this style, supportive style, can work better. And for long-term growth and skill development, see, your job is to develop subordinates also. Your job is to look at the long-term growth perspective of the team and team development, and through team development, organizational development as such. So when your view is in a long-term growth and skill development of your subordinates, you have to use this supportive style of functioning. A case in point here is Satya Nadella, CEO of Microsoft, is known for his supportive leadership style. He transformed Microsoft culture by emphasizing empathy, growth mindset, and employee empowerment. Earlier, also, we were taking up the example of Satya Nadella, CEO of Microsoft. Under his leadership, Microsoft became more inclusive and innovative growth, as a matter of fact. So that's what the supportive style means. Now let's examine third one, collaborative coaching style. So there are slightly different when you compare with style 1, style 2, style 3, style 4, etc. But try to identify the undercurrents, finer points of distinction. So what is collaborative coaching styles? It implies this style involves working with the team members, mind it, working with the team members. That means you have to go with brainstorming. You know what it matters, what it means. Brainstorming means idea generation. Sit with them, generate as many number of ideas that come out to solve a particular problem. So you are supposed to brainstorm them and problem solve and make decisions collectively. It's not something dictated by you. No, you generate so many ideas. Subordinates are also important for us, right? They may have some creativity, some wisdom on looking at the problems from different dimensions. So this style involves working with the team members as equals to brainstorming, problem solving, and making decisions collectively. When you do that, you are building up and fostering a sense of ownership and partnership from the team members. You are drawing them in, so they feel like they are the owners and they are the partners in the growth process, as a matter of fact. So collaboration coaching style is nourishing them, brainstorming, problem solving, make joint decision making collectively. So let us examine the characteristics of this. Number one, it emphasizes teamwork and shared decision making. They feel safe because they are collaborating, right? Nobody is great and nobody is what you call bad in the process here. So everybody is on an equal footing, and the leader is taking care of everybody, and there is a shared decision making. There's a brainstorming, problem solving, joint decision making as such. So it emphasizes teamwork and shared vision. Number two is it values diverse perspectives and input, meaning that all possible what you call decision alternatives can be worked out with diverse perspectives. X may have his own perspective, Y may have another perspective, Z may have another perspective. Value diverse perspectives and input given by subordinates. Sit down jointly and work out the best possible opportunity. So, best possible alternative. Values diverse perspectives and input. And third one is focus on mutual respect and trust minded, because all of us are one and the same. We are all working for organizational perspective, organization goal achievement processes. So give them mutual, I mean, understand the mutual respect and trust among people with whom you are working with. So when to use this kind of collaborative approach, that's very important, especially when dealing with complex problems, uh, you know, requiring creativity. So the problems are not a routine problem as such. You're working on a very complex problem requiring creativity. So all people must be involved here. You don't know, we don't know. A brainstorm is such that you ask all people to generate as many number of ideas as possible to help solve this particular problem. So especially when you're dealing with a complex problem requiring creativity, tap creativity from all people as much as possible. And number two is foster innovation and ownership among team members. If you collaborate with them instead of dictating and simply supporting, collaborate with them, ask them to find solutions. So that's interesting. So to foster innovation, creativity, and ownership among team members, you can use this collaborative approach as such. Then, when team members are skilled and motivated, that's again interesting thing to collaborate with them, right? Because some team members and are skilled in some areas, and some other team members may be skilled in another areas, and pull them together, collaborate, and you sit with them. So when team members are skilled and motivated, the collaboration style of functioning, collaborating coaching, collaborative way of coaching is helpful a lot. It will be good enough. Then let's take an example of PepsiCo CEO's interventions in leadership styles, coaching styles as such. Indra Nooyi, former CEO of PepsiCo, demonstrated a very collaborative coaching style by involving her team in strategic decisions, because she was known for her performance with purpose. A very important quote here: performance with purpose initiative, which relied on collective brainstorming to align business goals with social responsibility. That means collective brainstorming. She used to sit together and all the people to be together. So, this is a beautiful initiative, performance with purpose. So that's a good example in the what I call collaborative style of functioning. The next style of coaching is transformational coaching style. The name implies transform. So where you are supposed to go, transform people from a level of performance to a superior level of performance. And that means you have to take them into confidence in the process of coaching. Let's see. Transformational coaching style is to inspire and transform team members by aligning their personal goals with organizational objectives. I have been talking to you here is very clear earlier also. So they have individual personal goals. They have, I mean, all of us have organizational goals, organizational objectives as such. So, how you are going to inspire them and transform them into a productive team members by aligning their personal goals with organizational goals. The personal goals and organizational goals must be in cohesion, in what you call alignment, perfect alignment as such. So it focuses vision, values, and long-term growth. If you would like to go in for transformation of the employees, provide them necessary training or whatever it is. Let's examine what are the characteristics of this style. Number one is it encourages innovation and change, because you are behind them to suggest the creative idea or whatever you call it, train them properly, develop them. It encourages innovation and change. Number two, it inspires team members to exceed expectations, because you're totally with them, right? So when you're totally with them in the process of giving them a lot of inputs, it inspires team members to exceed expectations, because you're planning to transform them from X stage to Y stage by training them, by motivating them, of course, by controlling them as well. And third one is it focuses on intrinsic motivation and shared vision. See, intrinsic motivation is from within. So it focuses on intrinsic motivation. The people will be autonomously coming up with their own ideas, with their own motivation to do the things effectively, because you're trying to transform them from X stage to Y stage to Z stage as such. So that's why. So it focuses on intrinsic motivation and shared vision. All people will be sharing this vision. When to use this style? Let us examine 3 points. One, to drive organization change and inspire commitment. Very, very important. Please note, organization change is a very, very difficult thing to manage. Managing changes, if you do not manage a change, if you do not take organization of the change, you are out of the industry, competitive industry. That means I've been telling about some important examples. You might have heard the story of Nokia mobile phones. Nokia is known for its, mobile phone industry from 19th century to 2000. After that, 1990, 2000, and all that. Nokia is used to be holding on a brand name, but all of a sudden, what was happening is uh, uh, Google has came in with Android, and Apple has come in with iPhones. So what was happening? The There is a complete revolution of the mobile industry as such. So that led to some problem areas for Nokia. So Nokia today is nowhere, and it has to merge with Microsoft. Microsoft acquired Nokia. The lesson is, if you fail to sell the product, you have to sell the company itself. Nokia failed to sell the product, and it has sold itself to Microsoft. You know what has happened? In one of the immediate general body meetings, the CEO of Nokia shed tears. Most of the directors shed tears. We have not gone wrong, but we don't know what has happened. So this has happened. What was happening is they did not bother to manage the change. Change was under the carpet. They did not recognize it, and by the time they recognize, everything gets lost. They got out of the market. In the sense, of course, they are there, but they are acquired by Microsoft, as a matter of fact. So this is what we mean. So when this kind of transformative coaching style functions is make the organization dynamic with what do you call learning organization as such. So there's a difference between aging organization and a learning organization. Aging organization gets age year after year age, but learning organizations are learning. They get wisdom, and the aging organizations fail to plan for a change. And when change happens, they try to manage the change. They are too late, just like Nokia. Now, learning organizations, they plan change now itself before change happens. They forecast changes, they examine. So, to do all these things, you have to have a transformative team of people as such. So, transformative coaching style here can be to drive organizational change and inspire commitment. And then when developing leaders within the team, yes, you have to, because you can't have a leaderless organization as such. Second line of defense is very, very important. That's what we call leadership planning, career planning, path progression, and all that. Leadership development process should be there. If X retires, what happens to the organization? If X dies or retires for any reason, it goes out of gear. That's what was happening, actually happened for Infosys. Infosys, Narayan Murthy Garu has left the organization, and there was a lot of trouble. Again, he was invited back again to Infosys. These are the initial years I'm talking to. So this is what it means when developing leaders within the team. Transformation coaching style is very very important, and to create a culture of continuous improvement. See, change is not a destination; it's a journey. Change is not a destination; it's a journey. You have to go on, go on, go on. That's what it, change is all about. I'll give you one more example how it change happens. Most of you had the story of surf, Hindustan Unilever surf. I think somewhere else, when I was talking to you on brand management or product life cycle, whatever it is, I was talking to you about this example. So surf markets were very good, and surf is a qualitative product when compared to most detergents available there. And a small product like Nirma, from Nirma Chemical Works, Nirma washing powder, has started threatening the markets of Hindustan Unilever. A biggest tremor in the market is the entry of Nirma taking head on with the surf markets of Hindustan Unilever. So what to do? So Hindustan Unilever has revised their surf versions, Surf Extra, Surf quality, and the what you call brand preferences will automatically change. There is no other alternative as such. Customers will be moving out from surf to, there's a what we call brand swapping, what we call, from the manufacturer side, and customers switching the brand from surf to Nirma. So then they started repositioning their brand, Surf Extron, Surf Altron, and all that. So that's what we mean by it. So you need to create a culture of continuous improvement if you want to stay in the market. So that's what we call the reason why we say transformational coaching style helps. Now, here, of course, a political leader example is given here. Nelson Mandela used a transformational style during his presidency to unite a divided South Africa. This is South African movement, you know pretty well, and he inspired a shared vision of reconciliation and equality among people of South Africa. So he led the movement on his shoulders as such, motivating people to work towards common goal despite deep rooted challenges. Very many challenges are there, but he did that kind of a thing to solidify the support, collective support of South African people to lead the apartheid movement as such. That's what we call the style, the transformative coaching style. Then laissez-faire coaching style. Laissez-faire is non-intervention. Simply don't intervene. So here, what may happen, please note now, there's a marked change. We are moving from a leader's role to a leaderless teams as such. This is called SMTs, self-managed teams. Self-managed teams are leaderless teams. There need not be any leader for that, because all of the members in the group, all the members in the team as such, they feel responsible, and they have a very congenial atmosphere to conduct themselves in with trust and all that, with mutual respect. They handle the joint decision making exercise and goal achievement. So in this style, leaders offer minimal intervention. Almost it is leaderless. Laissez-faire means don't intervene. Don't intervene. So this happens only when you have when the leader trusts their teams to take responsibility for their tasks on their own, and it is most effective with self-motivated and competent individuals. Mind it, always in all situations this may not happen. It's most effective only when the self motivation is there and competent individuals are there in the team, because they are well set, they are competent enough, they are self motivated. Why there should be any leader and all that, and to say something and all? So there'll be that joint effort is very necessary. Then what are the characteristics, how it looks like? One, it hands off approach with minimal supervision, meaning leader hands off. That means they are not intervening in the process. If they intervene with minimal supervision only, not to do too much of a thing, directions or whatever, then it relies on trust and autonomy minded, because there is a trust to be ensured among the members of the teams, and also they are autonomously functioning, no intervention here, because they are all capable of doing it. So that you leave them autonomous without intervention. And the third, it focuses on results rather than the processes. See, why the process is that, wow, who should take the decision, or who should hold the meetings and all, and how the mini meetings are to be taken up, and this is the process where the entire thing will go, right? So but here it focuses on results rather than processes, because all are competent, all are good enough, trained and all that. So you keep them autonomous. So you try to focus on results rather than processes like superior subordinate relationship issues and all. No. So then when this style works better, let's examine when to use. When working with highly skilled and experienced team members, I was telling you, it is absolutely good enough when you're working with highly skilled and experienced team members only, because there is no need for you to intervene and teach them anything. Then second one, where it works is to foster creativity and independent problem solving. This helps. See, leave them alone. You can foster creativity and independent problem solving by themselves, because they're all competent, they're skilled, they're very competent. Leave them there. Then in research and development roles also, or in entrepreneurial settings, this coaching style functions, because they are very well informed, they are very well trained, and they're autonomous. As such, in R&D roles, for example, or in entrepreneurial settings, and startups, whatever you call it, all people are energized, they're chilled and transformed as such. That's why this kind of coaching style helps laissez-faire. Just don't intervene. Real life example here. So Warren Buffett, the most of the finance students can understand who is Warren Buffett. Warren Buffett, CEO of Berkshire Hathaway, is known for trusting his managers and giving them the freedom to run their businesses independently. He is not interested to involve himself in a day-to-day things. This hands-off approach, that means non-intervention, allows for innovation and high levels of accountability. This is how the things go. You please try to understand. So with this again, we need to understand which coaching style is good. Of course, here is again another important interpretation that we can give here is coaching style blend. We have already said no coaching style is the exclusive coaching style as such, because there are a number of factors which determine the coaching style of the leader as such. So coaching style blend means most effective leaders adapt their coaching styles based on the situation and the individual team needs. That's what I'm saying right from the start. So this flexibility ensures that they maximize productivity and morale while fostering growth. So coaching style blend means different coaching styles at different settings when working with different sets of teams and all that. So for example, erstwhile American President Barack Obama showcased a blend of styles, which he used directive coaching style during crisis, financial crisis of 2008, the biggest thing. So he adopted a collaborative and transformational approach while when building consensus on policy reforms. He is known for showcasing this blend of styles. Maybe directive coaching sometimes, maybe transformational leadership approach sometimes, or maybe collaborative leadership sometimes. So in conclusion, what we can say is understanding and adapting leadership coaching styles is very critical for effective team management. And leaders who can be flexible enough in applying different styles like this based on their needs and their team and the situation can only build resilient and high performing teams. See, the end result is that Organization should be very resilient, and in order to face different challenges in the market, again, it should go good. It should be wisdom oriented organization, is able to learn from mistakes, and able to transact, navigate change very well, and all that. This is something very interesting to note on coaching styles as such. Here we stop, and any discussion I just allow for discussion, and I just end the stream.